Have you ever stopped to think about the possibility that we are not really alone, but instead, we are being quietly watched? Imagine Earth as a huge zoo, and we humans are like the animals inside it. We go about our daily lives, building cities, exploring science, and creating art, without realizing that someone might be out there, far beyond the stars, simply observing us. To them, we could be a fascinating experiment, a developing civilization that isn't quite ready to meet the rest of the universe. This idea may sound like something from a science fiction movie, but it's actually based on a real scientific theory. It's called the zoo hypothesis. The theory suggests that advanced alien civilizations might already know about us, but they choose not to make contact. Just like zookeepers do not directly interact with the animals they care for, these civilizations could be keeping their distance, letting us grow and evolve naturally. What makes this theory so interesting is that it doesn't dismiss the possibility of alien life. Instead, it explains why we haven't seen any evidence of it yet. If there are beings far more advanced than us, perhaps they think humanity is still too young or too unpredictable to join the greater cosmic community. Maybe they're waiting for us to reach a certain level of maturity before revealing themselves. In this video, we're going to dive into the zoo hypothesis step by step. We'll look at the mystery it tries to solve, the scientific reasoning behind it, the doubts and criticisms, and finally, what it could mean for us if it turns out to be true. By the end, you'll have a whole new way of looking at the universe, and maybe even at your own place within it. The zoo hypothesis is not just a random idea. It comes from a much bigger mystery that scientists have been struggling with for decades. This mystery is called the Fermi Paradox. It begins with a very simple question. If the universe is so big, filled with billions of stars and planets, then where is everybody? Why haven't we found a single clear sign of alien life? Think about it. Astronomers now know that there are countless planets out there, many of which could have the right conditions for life. Some of these planets are much older than Earth, which means alien civilizations could have had millions or even billions of years to grow, advance, and spread across the galaxy. With all that time and possibility, it feels strange that we have never seen a spaceship, received a message, or found any proof that someone else is out there. This silence is what puzzles scientists. The math suggests that life should be common, but our reality shows no evidence of it. This is the heart of the Fermi Paradox, the gap between high expectations and the lack of proof. Enrico Fermi, the famous physicist, summed it up with his famous question, "Where is everybody?" Over the years, many explanations have been suggested. Maybe intelligent life is very rare. Maybe civilizations destroy themselves before they can reach the stars. Or perhaps we simply don't know how to look in the right way. But among all these ideas, the zoo hypothesis stands out because it doesn't deny the existence of aliens. Instead, it says they might be here already, choosing to remain hidden. This is where the theory becomes both fascinating and unsettling. If the Fermi Paradox asks, "Why don't we see anyone out there?" The zoo hypothesis answers, "Because they don't want us to see them." The zoo hypothesis was first introduced in 1973 by an astrophysicist named John A. Ball. At that time, scientists were deeply interested in the question of extraterrestrial life and were beginning to think about why the universe seemed so silent. Ball suggested an idea that was both simple and mind-bending. Maybe we haven't met aliens because they don't want us to know they're here. According to this theory, advanced civilizations might already be aware of Earth and the humans living on it. They may even have the technology to visit us or to watch us from far away. But instead of making contact, they choose to remain hidden. The reason is not because they dislike us, but because they don't want to interfere. Just like zookeepers allow animals in a zoo to live naturally without explaining the outside world to them, these civilizations could be treating humanity the same way. The idea paints a very curious picture. Imagine aliens as silent observers, watching us build pyramids, fight wars, explore space, and invent technology, all while never stepping forward to reveal themselves. From their perspective, humanity could be seen as a developing species, not yet ready to be part of a larger cosmic community. By staying silent, they give us the freedom to grow, make mistakes, and learn on our own. There are even deeper possibilities behind this idea. Maybe advanced civilizations have a strict rule, similar to the Prime Directive from science fiction. that says they must not interfere with younger species until they reach a certain stage of development. Or perhaps they are testing us, waiting to see if we can solve our problems and prove that we are wise enough to handle contact with beings far more advanced than ourselves. What makes the zoo hypothesis so fascinating is that it turns the silence of the universe into something meaningful. Instead of emptiness, it suggests presence. Instead of no one being out there, it suggests that someone is out there, but they are deliberately choosing not to let us know. The zoo hypothesis might sound like a wild story, but some scientists actually take it seriously as a possible explanation for the silence of the universe. What makes it believable is that it doesn't go against the laws of physics or our current scientific knowledge. It doesn't require aliens to be magical or godlike. It only requires them to be far more advanced than us, both technologically and socially. One reason scientists think it could make sense is that the idea of non-interference is not strange at all. In fact, we humans already practice something similar. For example, when researchers study animals in the wild, they try to observe without disturbing them. Even more closely, when isolated human tribes are discovered in remote parts of the world, many governments and organizations choose not to contact them directly. The reason is to protect their way of life and to avoid introducing things that could harm or disrupt their culture. If we take these actions on Earth, then it's not hard to imagine that advanced alien civilizations might do the same with us. Another scientific perspective is that if alien civilizations are truly millions of years ahead of us, then hiding from us would be very easy. They could have technologies that are beyond our imagination, ways to monitor planets, control signals, or even camouflage themselves completely. To them, keeping Earth in the dark would be as simple as flipping a switch. This would explain why we see nothing, even when we search the skies with our most powerful telescopes and radio antennas. Some scientists also point out that the zoo hypothesis is not only about hiding, it's about patience. If aliens are out there, they might be waiting for the right time. They could be waiting for humanity to become more peaceful, more united, or more technologically advanced before they reveal themselves. From their point of view, we may still be in our childhood stage as a species, and they might be waiting for us to grow up before introducing us to the wider universe. Of course, not every scientist agrees with this idea, but it remains one of the most fascinating ways to answer the Fermi Paradox. It allows us to imagine that silence does not mean emptiness. Instead, it could mean restraint, wisdom, and a decision to let us find our own path before stepping in. While the zoo hypothesis is fascinating, it's important to remember that not all scientists agree with it. In fact, many argue that the theory has some serious weaknesses. One of the biggest criticisms is that it assumes an incredible level of cooperation between alien civilizations. Think about it. If the universe is filled with many advanced species, they would all have to agree on the same rule: do not contact Earth. That kind of universal agreement seems very unlikely. After all, even humans often disagree with one another on rules, laws, and morals. So, why would countless alien civilizations, spread across galaxies, all follow the same plan to stay hidden? Another counterargument is that the zoo hypothesis explains too much without offering any actual evidence. It says, aliens are hiding from us, but there's no way to test or prove it. This makes it more of a philosophical idea than a scientific one. Science usually relies on evidence, experiments, and predictions. If a theory cannot be tested, some argue, it becomes less reliable as a scientific explanation. There are also many other possible answers to the Fermi paradox that don't involve aliens deliberately hiding. Some scientists believe intelligent life may actually be extremely rare, and Earth could be one of the few places it ever developed. Others suggest that advanced civilizations might exist, but are too far away for us to detect, or that their signals simply haven't reached us yet. Another possibility is that civilizations might not last long. They could destroy themselves through war, environmental collapse, or technology before ever reaching the stars. Critics also point out that the zoo hypothesis is built on human assumptions. We imagine aliens acting like us, zookeepers, researchers, or careful observers. But what if they think in ways we can't even understand? Their motives, behaviors, or goals might be so different from ours that we can't predict them at all. If that's the case, then trying to explain their silence with our own logic could be misleading. So, While the zoo hypothesis is an exciting and imaginative idea, many scientists see it as just one possibility among many. It helps us think about the mystery of where is everybody, but it doesn't give us a final answer. Instead, it leaves the question open, reminding us how little we still know about the universe. If the zoo hypothesis were true, the implications for humanity would be enormous. It would mean that we are not alone in the universe, and not only that, but we are already under observation by civilizations far more advanced than we can imagine. Instead of wondering if aliens exist, the real question would become, why are they watching us, and what do they want from us? One possible implication is that aliens see us as a young species that needs time to grow. They might be studying our progress, observing how we handle challenges like war, climate change, or technology. To them, our entire history could be like a live experiment, showing how intelligent life evolves. If that's the case, then every step we take as a civilization might already be part of a much bigger story being watched from the outside. Another possibility is that advanced civilizations follow a kind of moral or ethical rule. Just as humans have laws against disturbing certain animal habitats or contacting isolated tribes, aliens may have a universal non-interference principle. If so, it would mean that we are protected from interference, whether for our own good or because they simply don't see us as ready to join the larger cosmic community. But the zoo hypothesis also raises unsettling questions. If aliens are watching us, do they ever judge us? Do they see us as violent and immature, or as a species with great potential? Are they waiting for a moment when humanity proves itself worthy, or are they waiting for us to make a mistake? The idea that we could be under constant, invisible observation changes the way we think about privacy, freedom, and even our place in the universe. It also makes us wonder what the future might hold. Will there come a day when the watchers finally step forward and reveal themselves? Will they wait until we achieve space travel, or until we unite as a planet? Or will they never show themselves at all, choosing instead to remain silent observers forever? The implications stretch beyond science. They touch philosophy, religion, and our own self-image as humans. If we are living in a kind of cosmic zoo, then we are part of something much bigger than we ever imagined. And maybe, just maybe, the way we behave today will shape the way our zookeepers see us tomorrow. The zoo hypothesis may not have solid proof, but it gives us one of the most fascinating answers to the question, where is everybody? Instead of imagining an empty universe, it invites us to picture a galaxy filled with advanced civilizations who are simply choosing to stay silent. The idea transforms the great silence of space into something meaningful, not a void, but a deliberate choice. When we look at it this way, the universe feels less lonely and more mysterious. If we really are being watched, then humanity is living on a stage far bigger than we ever thought. Every invention, every conflict, every breakthrough, and every act of kindness could be part of a story that others are quietly observing from the shadows of the cosmos. Of course, the zoo hypothesis might never be proven. It could turn out that we are alone, or that aliens are simply too far away to find us. But even if that's true, the theory pushes us to think about our place in the universe in a new way. It asks us to reflect not only on the possibility of alien life, but also on how we appear as a species, how we act, how we treat our planet, and how we treat each other. So what do you think? If advanced civilizations really are out there, silently watching us, what kind of story are we showing them? Are we a species worth protecting, or one that still has a lot to learn? The zoo hypothesis doesn't give us all the answers, but it leaves us with a powerful reminder. The truth about the universe may be far stranger and far more exciting than we can imagine.